This is not okay. This needs to stop now. This is cancer.
Hey everyone, welcome back to another edition of Warhammer 40k, a universe so dark that not being a person makes you better at killing demons. Last time we looked at the Leagues of Votann, the newest army in 40k with a very limited model pool. However, now we are looking at an army with a fairly limited model pool. The Grey Knights, the secret order of Space Marines specialized and designed to fight demons. Let's get into the fluff.
Rule number 1, never trust anybody.
During the events of the Horus Heresy, the Emperor of Mankind entrusted his old friend, Malcador the Sigillite, to find individuals with strong wills and character. Malcador spent the heresy finding and recruiting these individuals, who would be dubbed the Knights Errant, made up of Marines from both loyal and traitor legions, along with men and women who Malcador described as inquisitive by nature. During the final days of the Horus Heresy, when the Siege of Terra began, Malcador led the individuals he chose to the Emperor for his final judgment. Being pleased with Malcador's selections, the 8 Marines were given new names, while the 4 humans would go on to found the organization called the Inquisition. The 8 Marines would be taken to Saturn's moon Titan by unknown means. There, the 8 veterans would find a fortress built to not only sustain an order of Marines, but everything they would need to create their new chapter, from newly designed weapons to 8 whole companies worth of trainees. Malcador, by unknown means, would hide Titan in the warp, letting the 8 Marines train their new aspirants without fear of retaliation from traitor forces. In the realms of the warp, time has no meaning. Hours for real world meant centuries for the aspirants. When Titan was finally brought out of the warp, the new order of knights were not trainees anymore, but fully trained and veteran Marines of 100 wars, ready to fight the forces of the Dark Gods. To become a Grey Knight is to face trials that go even further beyond the trials of a regular Space Marine. The aspirant not only loses their name, but memories of their previous life, then are thrown through trials that only 1 in 1,000 will even survive, only to be implanted with the gene seed of the Emperor of Mankind, giving a Grey Knight the ability to not only survive the warp, but be an anathema to the demons of chaos. The Grey Knights in 40k are a top secret order of demon hunters. Their deployment is that of a last resort for a war zone, only to be deployed at the request of the Inquisition and the High Lords. To know of their existence is to invite death, for no one but the highest authorities must know of their existence. Let's get into the army.
So what are you doing?
What am I doing?
What are you doing?
Nothing much.
Thwarting my plans?
What are your plans?
Are you?
Yes.
I'm gonna fucking kill you!
The Grey Knights on the table are similar to the Custodes, if you watch that video. A smaller, entirely psychic army focused on hitting as hard as possible and as fast as possible. They run a few more units than the Custodes do, but still are one of the smallest armies on the table. The Grey Knight army ability is called Teleport Assault. During the end of your opponent's turn, you can select a number of units up to the amount determined by the game size that are not locked in melee combat, and teleport them off the board and bring them back during the reinforcement step of your movement phase. This ability makes Grey Knights extremely mobile compared to other armies, being able to teleport around the board, giving them tons of positioning options, and being able to respond to how your opponent moves. Granted, this ability is a double-edged sword, as if your opponent knows how to best space out their models, they can restrict or even stop your deep-striking units entirely. So, be aware of that. Let's get into your units.
This right here is my favorite thing, ever. In the history of forever. I think about this every day. I think about this all night long. I stay awake, not sleeping, because I'm thinking about this.
To show how much better and more elite Grey Knights are, the most elite and toughest unit Space Marines can field, the Terminator, are the regular infantry of the Grey Knights. Yep, Where the regular plebeians can only get Termies from their elite choices, your Terminators are a battle line unit, taking priority on objectives. Not only that, they can get a banner that increases their objective control value and a healing item that can resurrect one dead model per turn. And they also get lethal hits if they charge into combat. We also get the regular infantry known as a strike squad, which are your regular Marines. Now, they aren't anything special, as their ability allows you to hold an objective even after you leave it, and that's a pretty common ability in the game. Also, most Grey Knight units and weapons have Psychic as an ability, for better or worse. However, the massive problem with Grey Knights right now is their melee. Grey Knights had a few melee weapon options in the last edition, from twin blades to massive hammers. Now they are all lumped into one weapon type called Nemesis Demon Weapons. They are weapons at strength 6, AP-2, and damage 2. A decent stat line, but it leaves a lot to be desired when Grey Knights used to be able to outfit squads to be hyper-specialized or flexible with different melee stats. It's what made them unique compared to other armies. But it will hopefully be fixed when the Codex comes out. For now, it's this. Grey Knights, frustratingly, are one of those armies that use the same models for different units, just with different stat sheets for them. Inceptors and Purgation squads are just the Strike Squad models, but with personal teleport packs and heavy weapons respectively. They offer some flexibility in speed and rage firepower, where Inceptors can move 6 inches after shooting at the loss of the ability to charge if they do, while Purgation squads can shoot at enemy targets even without direct line of sight, so long as a friendly unit is spotting for them. However, the most dangerous of these elite units is the elite of the elite Terminators, the Paladins. Paladins are way tougher Terminators, as they give a -1 to wound for weapons that are stronger than their toughness, meaning that much like a certain War Master, your opponent can't roll 2s to wound your Terminators. Though this unit is an expensive brick to bring, it's a damn solid brick.
I can see the future!
Inside the Grey Knights, there's an even more super secret order of knights called Purifiers. Purifiers are one of the few units in the Grey Knights that got to keep a psychic-based attack called Purifying Flame. A fairly good shooting attack with anti-infantry 2+. On top of that, Purifiers get stronger the more damage they take, getting a +1 to hit rolls when they're below starting strength, and getting +1 to wound if they're below half strength, making them a pretty scary unit to run. But you can make a unit scarier thanks to this special snowflake.
Ooh, we have a special snowflake!
Castellan Crow is your Purifier character, and he is a bastard! He can negate a single die of damage, but also he gives the Purifying Flames attack an extra attack. So calculating that shit real quick is 44 attacks that ignore cover and are AP-1 and wound anything with the infantry keyword on a 2 or higher. He is also a damn good duelist character, as his sword has precision and devastating wounds, but it's just a Nemesis Force weapon stat-wise at that point. He's a good character to bring if you are bringing Purifiers.
Hold up. Wait a minute. Something ain't right.
Remember, Grey Knights are Space Marines, and they of course get their own Land Raiders, Dreadnoughts, Rhino Transports, and so on. However, Grey Knights have a unique walker, and were the reason Space Marines got a flying Land Raider in the first place. They get the Dreadnought and Storm Talon gunship. Dreadknights are the Grey Knights' baby carrier response to greater demon units. Their weapons can be outfitted to sweep out hordes of infantry, hit as hard as possible, or be a mix of both of them. Basically, these large lads are some of the only anti-tank / monster units you can get. However, there's also the Storm Talon, and as I said, this thing is a flying Land Raider, able to carry 12 models and a Dreadnought inside it. Its firepower is decent, as it gets 2 twin-link guns of your choice, fairly decent missiles, and an optional 2 sets of Hurricane Bolters. Your vehicle pool, however, isn't deep, but they hit damn hard and are some of the only ways to get anti-big stuff in your army.
According to the ruling decrees of the Grey Knights and the oath taken upon my initiation as Supreme Grand Master. It's a secret.
Do I have to talk about him? There are other Grandmasters and... Fine. Kalador Drago is the Grey Knight's supreme leader, and he's a fairly good tank if you want him. He gives the unit he joins feel no pain 4+ against mortal wounds, and after coming out of Deep Strike, gets to add D3 to his 2d6 charge, along with having a better Purifying Flame attack, and his sword being Anti-Demon 2+ at Strength 8, AP-4, Damage 3. But that's about it. He is a great take to add to a Paladin squad, but not much else. He's kind of the best example right now of how Grey Knights are faring without a codex. A heavy hitter that feels like he doesn't hit hard enough.
Because God has cursed me for my hubris, and my work is never finished.
And that's the Grey Knights. They have always been an army that Games Workshop has never been able to balance. They either are stupidly capped in the knees, or are one of the most broken things to hit the table. However, don't let that discourage you. Grey Knights have some of the coolest looking Marine and Terminator models out there. They offer a lot of weapon customization to fit your preference, and are one of the easiest armies to paint if you want to go with their standard color scheme. They are an incredibly fun Black Ops army to play in 40k. But don't be surprised if you become the most hated or weakest army in new editions. Thanks for watching, and when we come back we will talk about more Marines, but lumping them in together like we did with the Imperial and Chaos Knights. The Death Watch and Black Templars. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and join the Patreon to help support the channel. You guys help keep the lights on and help me keep making these videos for you. See you next time.